Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's DAYYY Media coming at you with another video. You know what time it is. It's time to bring on the boxing. And today we're going to be talking about Keith Thurman and Jaron Ennis. You know, Keith Thurman was once at the top of the welterweight division at 147 pounds. You know, he had his belts. He had his, great matches against guys like Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. Both went to decisions, but great fights. Then he obviously had his fight with Manny Pacquiao. But before that, he had the Josecito Lopez fight where he maybe looks a little bit more vulnerable coming off a long layoff, and maybe looked where Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach were able to kind of see holes in his game. But, you know, it's an issue of activity, right? Like, we want to see him back in the ring. We want to see him, fight the top guys again. But, that comes along with slowly getting your feet wet and staying active. That's the most important thing, and he just hasn't done that. We should have had a fight date a long time ago. We should have had another fight after Mario Barrios already take place, or at least coming up soon, but there's no word. And I think he's slowly gonna continue to fade out of the picture in the welterweight division, because there are guys like Jaron Ennis who could kind of, if Keith were to take this fight, I think that it would definitely put him at a higher level. But it's also that risk of getting in there with a big dog. But do you wait till kind of a Jaron Ennis continues to improve, because that's a scary sight? Do you want to see Keith Thurman, who's not 100%, but still takes a Jaron Ennis who maybe he's still in his younger stages where he's not even at his peak potential yet? I think he has a better chance at that than continuing to wait, continuing to take tune-ups that'll lead to a Jaron Ennis fight maybe 2 to 3 years down the line, where Jaron Ennis has already had experience and been there with elite competition. I don't know, his ability to switch, his ability to throw combinations, and he gets in there with his hooks, and he has good defense, and he's not afraid to throw the body. And we've seen Keith Thurman vulnerable to both the face and the body, the head and the body. So for me, it's not a great matchup for Keith, especially to get his name back to the top. But I think he's going to try to find a way up to an Earl Spence or an Ugas, or I'd rather fight an Ugas than a Jaron Ennis, to be honest, especially if I'm Keith Thurman, just because it's a safer route. But if he wants to gain the respect of the people, and he's really fearless, and he's not afraid of getting in the ring with anybody, I say take on a Jaron Ennis at this early stage in your career, when you can kind of use the experience to your advantage. You might have a lot of ring rust, and you might have a difficult time adjusting, but it's a respectable fight to take, and it's better than waiting till he continues to get better. It can kind of be one of those situations where you can say, I caught him early, so he's kind of out of the picture. Get him at you end the hype train. It kind of does a favor to Earl Spence. It does a favor to Terrence Crawford. If you beat him, it's going to be difficult. I see that as a 50-50 fight personally, just because I can't count out Keith Thurman's power. His only loss was to a Manny Pacquiao, which is like, there's no shame in losing to a guy like Manny Pacquiao, but he also wasn't in his prime. It was an over-the-hill Manny Pacquiao. And then he had his fight against Mario Barrios, the comeback fight, where he didn't look amazing, but he did hurt Barrios a significant amount of times, which is something to take into consideration. And Keith Thurman would definitely be Jaron Ennis' toughest test. So Jaron Ennis is scary, man. It's a scary fight for any Keith Thurman fan, but Keith Thurman's a tough guy. He has power. He's explosive, so I definitely wouldn't count him out. It's just a matter of how he reacts to not being so active, and how Jaron Ennis kind of prepares. His maturity level. Is he able to keep his composure when maybe Keith Thurman kind of puts it on him, and is Keith able to do the same when it happens to him? That's something we're gonna have to wait and see. But this is a matchup that it's fireworks for boxing. These guys are still the top talents in the welterweight division. Whether you have Keith Thurman way at the bottom now because of a lack of activity, it's just it's still a fight that I think every boxing fan, every purist would tune into. So let me know in the comments. I'm sure most of you have Jaron Ennis. I probably lean towards a Jaron Ennis, but I definitely wouldn't count out Keith Thurman. It's still a 50-50 fight in my opinion. So let me know in the comments your guys' predictions. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're road to 100 subs, so keep that number running up. Thank you guys for the constant support, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.